He was one of New England's own. He hailed from Lexington, Massachusetts. He's done it all, and then some. To give you a little brief thumbnail of Sully's career, he started in the early 1970s as Johnny West. What kind of a name was Johnny West? But I guess they said, go west, young man, and he found Johnny. Then he went to Florida, but by late 1974, he came back to his homestead. He came back to the WWF, and he was with us from 1974 through 1977. This was one of New England's own to make it. One of the things that I remembered very much about Kevin was he was just a good-looking, baby-faced performer. He had it all, and he showed it all. He really understood what a good match was all about, and that was just the seeds that were budding at that time. He wrestled on the 1976 card at Shea Stadium in front of 32,000 fans, an accomplishment of an attendance during that time frame. But then, of course, Kevin Sullivan, you could probably give him another nickname, the man with the suitcase stamps, because no matter where he went to a lot of places, Kevin Sullivan did not disappoint. To Gulf Coast area, to New York, to San Francisco, to Georgia, to Florida, to Memphis. Everywhere that Kevin Sullivan went, he was making his mark. Everywhere he continued, he knew what he was about to do. In Florida, in the early 1980s, Sullivan changed his persona, which arguably became one of the most unique characterizations in the history of our industry. The Boston Battler transformed into Bizarre and formed a stable with Mark Lewin, a.k.a. the Purple Haze, Bob Roop, and Luna Vachon, among others. An amazing, amazing group. People were talking. And in the pre-internet days of the wrestling magazines that people were into, folks were keenly interested. I used to buy the wrestling magazines back in those days, and I couldn't get enough. I mean, I knew about my area, but I wanted to know about the other areas where these individuals were performing. And then Kevin Sullivan decided after that he was going to put more suitcase stamps on his suitcase. Some of the organizations that he wrestled for, and I'm going to be brief: Smoky Mountain Wrestling, ECW, World Championship Wrestling, where he formed the Varsity Club with Mike Rotunda and Rick Steiner, and later joining the club with Dr. Death Steve Williams. Then it was Slaughterhouse, Cactus Jack and Buzz Sawyer were taken care of by Mr. Sullivan. Then do you remember when he formed a tag team with his brother, Evad? Do you remember that? That was Dave Sullivan. Brilliant. Take the name, just spell it backwards. They had a winning combination there. Then it went on, some of the other accomplishments in WCW, the Three Faces of Fear. And of course, then Kevin Sullivan went to try and find the Master. And when he found the Master dubbed him the Taskmaster, a name that has stood the test of time to this day. And of course, who can forget the Dungeon of Doom? Kevin also, besides his in-ring persona, also worked behind the scenes and was a creative force in a number of organizations, most notably WCW. Kevin, I can tell you this, and I'm going off my copy here, but Kevin, in my estimation, was one of the most brilliant people when it came to our industry. He absolutely pressed the buttons that he knew were going to work, and he made them work. Now, I personally have never had the opportunity to work with Kevin Sullivan professionally, but over the years we've become friends, and he's always been extremely gracious to me in giving me comments for stories on our classics division of WWE.com, something that I've always treasured and appreciated. Well, ladies and gentlemen, tonight, the long and arduous journey of Kevin Sullivan returns to his original stomping grounds, New England, and tonight I proudly induct him into the New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, class of 2013. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm standing, I expect you to stand, for Kevin Sullivan!
Knox says, anybody that wants me to be a member of their club, I don't want to be a member of the club. But this is not a club. Thank you very, very much. You have done well over anything I could exceed when I first laced up my boots. I am now a member of a very select fraternity. I can't get voted out, so you have to step with me and call it on. And on top of that, I just got introduced by the greatest ring announcer of all time, Howard Finkel. My journey was a long one. Sometimes I took the right path, a lot of times I didn't. But I would also say that the people I wrestled and worked with certainly made me a much better performer than I actually was. Whether it was Andre the Giant, Cactus Jack, Superstar Billy Graham, Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage, Sting, Rhodes, Mulligans, those guys worked hard every night to make me look better. But there's a missing factor in this. There are guys, and this is what I liked about tonight, there are guys that maybe not recognized all over the world that went out and busted their ass every night to get jerks like me over to draw money. So my hat's off to the guys that got inducted tonight. Because without the guys that got inducted tonight, I wouldn't be standing on the stage or living where I live. So I really like to thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I know you guys have been here a long time. And all I can say is God bless and thank you.